There have been strong indications that the US and UK are poised to lift their restrictions within days on Ukraine using long-range missiles against targets inside Russia, but no confirmation came from talks between US President Joe Biden and UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer in Washington on Friday. Ukraine already has supplies of these missiles, but is restricted to firing them at targets inside its own borders. Kyiv has been pleading for weeks for these restrictions to be lifted so it can fire on targets inside Russia. Storm Shadow is an Anglo-French cruise missile with a maximum range of around 250 kilometers. Britain and France have already sent these missiles to Ukraine, but with the caveat that Kyiv can only fire them at targets inside its own borders. It is launched from aircraft, then flies at close to the speed of sound, hugging the terrain, before dropping down and detonating its high-explosive warhead. Storm Shadow is considered an ideal weapon for penetrating hardened bunkers and ammunition stores, such as those used by Russia in its war against Ukraine. Kyiv complains that not being allowed to hit the bases these attacks are launched from is akin to making it fight this war with one arm tied behind its back. Ukraine does have its own innovative and effective long-range drone program. At times, these drone strikes have caught the Russians off guard and reached hundreds of kilometers inside Russia. But they can only carry a small payload and most get detected and intercepted. Kyiv argues that in order to push back the Russian airstrikes, it needs long-range missiles, including Storm Shadow and comparable systems including American Army Tactical Missile System, which have an even greater range of 300 kilometers. Kyiv has been asking to use long-range Western missiles inside Russia for so long now that Moscow has already taken precautions for the eventuality of the restrictions being lifted. It has moved bombers, missiles, and some of the infrastructure that maintains them further back, away from the border with Ukraine and beyond the range of Storm Shadow. The Institute for the Study of War think tank has identified around 200 Russian bases that would be in range of Storm Shadows fired from Ukraine. Some further additional bases would come into range if the US approves the use of Army Tactical Missile System in Russia.